I'm the best weekend ever planned. James Franco's having a giant party. This place is beautiful, man.
This place is like a piece of me. You two just stepped inside me.
You let us both come inside you. Yeah.
Boom. Thanks, James Franco.
Have you seen Michael Cera tonight?
What's up, Brianna?
Can't believe people still invite him places.
Don't touch my bumper, bitch.
It's a weird phase.
So hot.
What the
This is the end. You know, I kind of wish I hated this movie so I could say, is this the movie about their careers? But I didn't. I like this movie. This is the movie. It's made by Seth Rogen and his writing partner, Evan Goldberg. They've done a lot of other things together. They did Pineapple Express, Superbad, which I really loved. They also did The Green Hornet, which fuck that.
So apparently they can't do superhero movies, but
No, well, yeah.
or comic movies. But
there was no way that was going to work at all. That wasn't going to happen. But this is a movie that was based on a short that the two of them actually wrote back in 2007 called Jay and Seth versus the Apocalypse, which the idea behind it is the same idea behind this one. Jay Baruchel, who, for any of you guys who don't know, he's never really starred in anything. They tried to turn him into a star for a little bit. He played Hiccup in How to Train Your Dragon, which is probably the best thing on his resume, except for being, as far as acting goes. As far as writing goes, he also wrote and directed Goon, which was one of my favorite movies of last year. But he didn't write this. He's acting in it, so that don't count. But it's Jay Baruchel comes in to L.A. to visit his friend Seth Rogen, and these guys are playing themselves. That's not the actors, and I just forgot the character names. No, everybody in this is playing themselves in this movie. But Jay Baruchel, he doesn't really like the LA scene. He, doesn't dig parties or any of that stuff. But Seth Rogen's like, well, it's just gonna be you and me. We're just gonna hang out. We're old friends. We haven't hung out for a while. I know I've gone all Hollywood, but screw it. You're gonna come over. I love that sirens are playing while I'm talking about this movie. You'll see why I say that in a little bit. But holy shit, that one's a loud one. Screw it. I've already begun talking. It can play in the background. It's getting louder as I say this.
is it coming towards us?
As I try to fight it, it gets louder. Screw it. But anyways, so they're hanging out. They're having a good time. They're two big potheads, so it involves smoking lots of pot. But eventually Seth Rogen goes, you know what? James Franco is having a party tonight. Once again, as I said, everyone's playing themselves. James Franco is having a party tonight. Let's go to it. And Jay Baruchel doesn't want to go to it because Jay Baruchel is just that guy. He does not like parties. He does not like meeting new people. He doesn't like James Franco. But they go there anyway. Seth is like, don't worry, it's going to be you and me. We're going to hang out throughout the entire evening. And for anybody who has been this guy before in your life, you know what's going to happen. Everybody has been that guy at some point where you want to just hang with your buddies. They want to go to a party. You go to the party under the premise that, oh, well, at least I'm going to hang with them because I know them. I don't know anyone else at the party, but I know them. And then they just end up ditching you. And you're just kind of sitting there going, well, I don't know anyone now. And eventually everybody starts having a good time. Everybody's getting in on inside jokes, and you're just kind of standing there in the corner just like, I don't know what to do. I don't like it here. And that is what happens here. And they capture that feeling perfectly. Like, it reminded me of some of those parties I've been to where it's like, fuck, man, I don't know anybody here. This sucks. They capture that feeling that Jay Baruchel has perfectly. He just wants to get out of there. But at the party it's nothing but other celebrities. It's Jonah Hill, who everybody is playing like a cartoonish version of themselves. Like James Franco is playing the guy who loves Seth Rogen. Like he's like, no, this is my new buddy now. This is my guy, Jay. I know that he was your friend, and I want to be friends with you too. But I love Seth Rogen so much. He's my friend now. James Franco is that guy. Jonah Hill is the way too nice guy. Like Jay Baruchel hates Jonah Hill because he's so nice, and you can't really blame him because there's a great line that Jay Baruchel has where he says, no one is that nice unless they're a serial killer trying to hide it. Like, he is that level of creepy. And then you also have Craig Robinson is there. Craig Robinson from The Office and from, several other... If you saw the guy, you'd know him, people. But he's kind of like the party guy. Not the big like, nasty party guy, but more like, you know, he's, like, playing a keyboard, singing a song called Take Your Panties Off at one point. Like, he's that guy in this. In fact, he's even wearing a t-shirt that says Take Your Panties Off throughout this movie. He never takes it off. He also has a towel slung over his shoulder throughout the whole film that says Mr. Robinson on it. Never takes it off his shoulder, and no one ever recognizes it. It's one of my favorite running gags that is not an actual running gag for some reason. But anyway, eventually you also get Danny McBride later in the film, who Danny McBride is playing Danny McBride.
Is there a plot, or are you just going to ramble on about...
I'm just going to ramble on names. But Danny McBride is also there, and Danny McBride is playing Danny McBride. For anybody who's seen Danny McBride, you know, on Eastbound and Down, Your Highness, anything he's ever done, he's always played the douchebag guy who's a total dick to everyone, and everybody else just kind of accepts it. But what happens is that at one point they decide, you know what, I gotta get out of here. Jay Baruchel goes down to the convenience store, and all of a sudden, the rapture happens. I don't mean like, you know, some apocalypse that we see in other movies, like a zombie apocalypse or something. The biblical apocalypse happens in this movie. Like, the worthy are beamed up to heaven, earthquakes happen, big sinkholes start opening, but blue lights appear, and all the nice people disappear, are sucked up into the heaven. And Jerry Baruchel goes back to the party, and sure enough, because they're all celebrities, they're all pretentious douchebags, and nobody at this party was sucked up to heaven. So nobody thinks anything is happening until all the other parts of the apocalypse happen. Big sinkhole opens, all the celebrities get sucked into it, except for those main guys who I just mentioned. And so the rest of this movie is this group of people stuck inside their house as they don't know what's going on, but they know that something has happened outside. At first they're just like, okay, let's wait and let's hold up in here, wait until they come and save us, because we're celebrities. Of course they're going to send someone to save us.
I don't want to die at James Franco's house.
We need to stay here until they start rescuing people, okay?
A huge earthquake happens. Who do they rescue first? Actors.
Famous people.
They'll get Clooney, Sandra Bullock, me. If there's room, you guys will come. The point is that we're all gonna get out of this first.
But then eventually they kind of realize, oh shit, there are like monsters and demons outside, and the biblical apocalypse has happened. And so yeah, there's your plot. But yeah, it is a crazy premise that I really love. It's, I mean, for a large part of this is a bottle film, basically. It is all set in James Franco's mansion. It is them just going, well, how much food do we have? Okay, let's divide up the food. It is them just basically trying to pass time for a very large chunk of this movie without having to go outside and without having to go out searching for food. But, you know, there are beats to this. It's not just them sitting around chatting the entire time. Like, they do stuff. Like, at one point, they take their little handheld camera and reenact, and they actually make a sequel to Pineapple Express, which is one of the funniest bits in this. Them making a low-budget trailer for the Pineapple Express 2 trailer, which looks way better than Pineapple Express 1.
It's like, and now it's like soon they're gonna actually make a Pineapple Express sequel, and it's like...
If it was this, I would dig it, because they pitch like this crazy idea of they have to stop Woody Harrelson from legalizing all pot, and they have Jonah Hill come in playing Woody Harrelson. So yeah, I would definitely watch this movie. But I really enjoyed this movie, this one that we get. You know, we do have other celebrities in there. Emma Watson shows up as another survivor of the apocalypse, and just beats the shit out of them. You see that in the trailer. You have Michael Cera there playing not Michael Cera. He's playing a coked up nut job. But it's, you know, he dies quick. That's in the trailer as well. But it's fun in the beginning just watching all these celebrities interact. Like you have, I forget his name, but the big goofy guy from How I Met Your Mother. Basically talking about how much he hates being on How I Met Your Mother. And then you've got Michael Cera, Jonah Hill, and McLovin from Superbad, all just hanging out at the same time. And as a fan of Superbad, I was kind of like, oh my god, it's the Superbad guys just hanging out. But yeah, it's an incredibly fun movie that, you know, I love movies that can take a concept that we haven't really seen before. Or, well, I mean, a concept that we have seen before and find a way to do something different around it. Because we've seen the apocalypse film done several times.
Right.
But people rarely ever touch the biblical apocalypse.
Yes.
Which more people should, because it's a frightening as fuck idea. I'm not going to get too much into, like, religious stuff, but, I mean, when you read, like, what the biblical apocalypse is, that is scary shit there. Lakes filling up with blood, demons popping up, it's crazy. And they go into all this, and, I mean, there's something magical about the fact that every single person who made this film is an outspoken atheist, not even agnostic. They're like, no, fuck it, there is no God. And they're making a film about the apocalypse, and they're playing themselves as atheists. So, I mean, there are great lines in here, like, I'm not going to spoil all of them, but one of my favorites is, so there actually is a God? Who saw that coming? Like, 95% of the people on Earth. Oh, yeah. Like, I mean, it's stuff like that. But, one of my few problems with this film is that, like I said, it is the biblical apocalypse. That's some frightening shit. You don't really get much of the frightening shit until the third act. Like, the first act is leading up to the apocalypse. Then, the second, like, I'd say 50, 45 minutes of this film is them in the house going, well, shit, how do we get along with each other? Like, they even set up a camera. It's almost like a reality show. Where, like, they're going, I cannot stand Danny McBride. Which, by the way, that's one of the things that I do love about this film. I know everybody loves Danny McBride for doing Eastbound and Down, but people are kind of starting to get tired of him because he plays the douchebag in every movie. I got tired of Danny McBride, like, way before anyone else. Like, if it was possible to be a Danny McBride hater hipster, I'd be it, because I was into that way before any of you guys were. I mean, halfway through the first season of Eastbound and Down, I was like, fuck this guy, he's too much of an ass. But everybody is always, like, afraid, and when in any of his, like, films where he's playing an asshole, everybody's kind of too afraid to call him an asshole, or they live in a universe where that doesn't exist to call someone out on being that. Mm-hmm. In this, I love the fact that he is playing that same guy that he always plays, and yet everybody is like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Why are you behaving like this? I mean, it's got one of my favorite moments that I've ever seen with Danny McBride, of him being an asshole, and just everybody at once kind of calling him out on it. And yeah, this is also an R-rated film. Let me just put it that way. And I'm not a big fan of the raunchy R-rated films that we've been getting lately. Like, I feel like they just do raunchy for the sake of being raunchy.
Yeah.
This one, you see some demon dick. I will say that. But it's kind of funny when you see it. And, I mean, they do get gross, but I can't help it. I was laughing. Like, they do a masturbation joke for 5 minutes straight. And I laughed all throughout that thing. I have never laughed at a masturbation joke normally. Like, I don't really find that level of offensive humor funny. This, like I said, 5 minutes. And I was laughing my ass off at this part. But as I said, one of my few complaints with this thing is that, you can get crazy with this. There are demons. There are monsters. They kind of shove it all into the last act, into the last, 20 minutes of the film. Because the rest of the film is just them there in their house, which I'm guessing might have been like a budget thing.
Maybe.
Yeah, exactly. It's like you can't have demons for that long. And it's good-looking demons. Like, they have all kinds of variety. It's really creative what they do, and it looks really good, too. But you can't, have them for that long. It would cost too much cash. I mean, this thing only cost $30 million to make. And when you look at the list of people in this, it's like, 90% of that had to go just paying celebrities to show up. I mean, they've got Aziz Ansari in there just to show up to die. That costs cash. Rihanna is in there for no reason. But yeah, that's one of my few problems, is that, in the last 20 minutes, you've got, multiple kinds of demons, a possession, which I won't say who gets possessed, but one of the people in the house gets possessed by a demon, and they have to perform an exorcism. And I've seen comical exorcisms before, where basically it's the guy doing the exorcism who's doing the comedic stuff. I've never seen one where the demon is the one doing the comedic stuff. Where, they've got the guy being exorcised, and he's got the demon, and he's like, dude, don't be a dick, let me just be a demon, okay? Stop this, okay? Alright, this is starting to hurt. You're being a total douche. It's stuff that you've never seen anybody do with the exorcism thing. I found it incredibly funny. But like I said, it was just all jammed in there at the end. But I'm still going to give this 4 stars. I hate saying it whenever somebody says, oh, critics get jaded because they've seen so many films. I think that is true for a lot of critics, but I've never really thought of myself as being like that, except when it comes to comedies. I will gladly admit that when it comes to comedies, the more comedies you see, the harder it kind of is to make you laugh. And yeah, this one made me laugh pretty hard. If it weren't for Monsters U, it would be my second favorite. It would be my favorite comedy of the year. But second favorite isn't bad, so I'm still gonna give this 4 stars.
Yeah, it's like the only reason why I didn't see this was because it had like The Hangover 3 has like the same tagline, the end.
Yes.
Yeah, so I accidentally got this confused with Hangover 3. I'm like, no, I don't want to see that shit. So,
Yeah. How great would The Hangover have been, though, if Zach Galifianakis fell into hell during the middle of this? That would be, oh no, wait, they all get drunk, get into a car accident, and wake up in hell and have to figure out what happened.
And instead of a monkey or a tiger, it's a little demon.
Oh my god, call Hollywood right now.
Get out of the way. What you want, honey? Oh my God!
Emma Watson showed up.
There are 6 of us. You cannot rob us.
Hermione just stole all of our. What you want, son?